Ladies and gentlemen, to another casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today we are on Golden Heights, a new map designed specifically for Red Bull Wololo Legacy, and it's a brand new map which is going to be interesting to watch. We have got in the south corner today Thor playing in blue, and his opponent Demuslim representing Team Liquid in teal, playing as the Delhi Sultanate, with Thor playing as the Mongols. And this is very interesting. Golden Heights with a couple of deep water fish there and quite a bit of shore fish. Looks like Demuslim is looking to get that dock up there on the east side, and it's an interesting one because if you invest a lot of wood into the dock and the fishing ships, the fish and chips, then it means you might be a little bit more exposed on land, especially if Thor decides to go for a fast uptime, or we shall see. He's actually going to go for the barracks there on the Uvu and double produce spearmen, maybe looking to challenge that dock that's been placed. And we saw a little bit of an interesting mechanic there, using the gur to push in a deer. Nicely done there. Going to be getting that food a little bit faster now with the faster gathering rate of that deer. Villagers garrison inside the town center might lose a scout there, Demuslim, quite cheaply. You think he will, he does indeed. And the spearmen are going to head out now. Now vision has been lost for Demuslim. That's a big issue. He definitely would have wanted that vision to see the spears, and I'm not sure if he saw the spears coming out. Or if indeed he saw the barracks. He probably did. Let's just take a look at that, whether he saw the barracks. He didn't. He hasn't got that scouted. He won't know that's happening. That's a bit of a concern. Without that vision, that bit of key detail, he'll lose that villager as well. Especially if the spear end up going that direction. I think they are. Let's just double check. They are indeed going towards the dock, I'm sure. Must do. Yep, they are indeed. There they are, two of them. Followed up by another. Villager popping out as well. Maybe to get a dock of his own. That's very excitingly done there. He's actually going to be pushing Demuslim off that water and the dock and then get a dock of his own. The thing is, the Delhi fishing ships should still potentially be able to fire up villagers, so it'll be a bit of a tricky one. It'll be interesting to see if that's the case. Obviously with the reworked naval, I'm not sure if that's entirely the true, actually, whether those fishing ships can still fire arrows. I suspect they probably could. Let's just double check. Yeah, they can still do that, so it's a nice bit of bonus there. The spear going to try and chase down that villager. The spear does die here. There's the barracks for the Delhi Sultanate. And we'll be getting efficient production, so we'll actually be able to put a scholar inside the barracks to double produce if he so wishes. Oh, the Khan might go down there. Lost there a little bit cheaply. Thor does use the maneuver arrow, but I'm not sure it's going to be quick enough. And the sheep donation is complete. Both players losing the scouts. That's really unusual for this high-level gameplay, or high-level players, really. And the spears are going to try and take down the dock, but they can't really with the fishing ships there. As you can see, the Muslim just opted to keep one fishing ship on the shoreline there, gathering the shorefish just to keep that dock nicely secure and protected. And this is a concern for Thor. I'm not sure if he factored this one in, because it's been difficult for him to torch down this this dock with the fishing ship just there all the time. Might be looking to try and get the fishing ship itself. He might be idling it a little bit though, which is good. But with another fishing ship there, that's going to be a bit of a tricky one to burn down. Still producing the spears. Thor is piling on the pressure, but Demuslim getting some spears of his own. And the spear, I think, goes down there. Don't see a dead body, though. And the fishing continues, so the food economy is going to be looking strong here for Demuslim. Should pay back for itself that wood investment relatively soon. And a couple of villagers on gold means that Thor is potentially eyeing up a feudal age uptime, and quicker than his opponent, really. We'll see. He hasn't been able to deny that dock, and I think he might be taking the spears towards the main base now, maybe to harass the wood line. Spear going here for Demuslim. Lost his scout, using the spearman at least for scouting at the very least. Now there's efficient production. It'll be interesting to see if he does double produce or does supervise the barracks. I probably won't. Probably looking just to produce enough of as he can. He's going to try and burn down this over, and there's a bit of a concern for Thor. He needs to get those spearmen back in position. Does have enough now to take an effective fight. We shall see if he does that. It's exactly what he's going to do. Move those spearmen in position. Try and stop down this torch damage. Thor does have 11 villagers on food now, transitioning a couple of them to deer stones. 5 villagers going to be aging up with to go to the feudal age. Going to try and cut off those spearmen. A couple of villagers went forward maybe to drop some outposts, but that's not going to happen. Thor looking to be aggressive here against the Delhi Sultanate. There's quite a lot of these spears now, 10 of them. Ooh, villagers caught out there just a little bit by Thor. Army split. Going towards the west is one group of spears, and the outpost probably will go up in the end because there's just plenty of spears to defend. The Muslim might try and focus on those spears. Sorry, on those villages rather. The spears trying to defend. Interested to see if he does manage to do it. I think the outpost should go up, committing to 2 villages. Oh, villagers being exposed there. They can try and burn down the outpost. And this is good damage, torch damage that's coming out on the outpost, as we said. As you can see, holy smokes, when it's being built, it can be really torched down. And I think one more volley might do it. Oh, he pulls back. He doesn't take the fight. There's a scholar here to try and heal up those units. That was greatly done by Demuslim. The micro on point, keeping the army separate. Takes down the Khan, and now this outpost will not go up. 2 villagers being idle, lost a lot of resources as well. Scholar healing those units up, and this is a strong start for Delhi Sultanate. He's got the fish boom going. He is still in the Dark Age, but will be going up relatively soon. Can place the landmark. It's going to be the Dome of the Faith, and Spearmen are going to be up against hardened spearmen. So this is a bit of a concern, but Thor kind of diving underneath the town centre a little bit there, a bit unnecessarily. Might be the case that Demuslim will need to just wall up here, but there is going to be an outpost attempt coming out again. They feel like this one will be a bit more successful because of the hardened spearmen. We'll see if he manages that. Yeah, the spears might take an engagement here. We'll have to see, especially if the scholar comes out. We'll have to see if he does do that. Be a bit tentative about it though. Won't necessarily be able to take a straight on fight easily. I want to delay things a little bit. And now Demuslim does make his way to the feudal age at 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes. The outpost is likely to go up. Will we see an archery range being dropped here? We shall see. Well, villagers being pulled. They're coming out with the torches. They're going to look to engage here potentially, and this could be an interesting one. The outpost isn't up yet, and it looks like the villagers are going to engage, and the spears. They're going to try and burn down the outpost. They might try and focus on the villagers that are building it. They might want to torch down the outpost. We shall see. The villagers being used to torch. Spearmen looking to try and defend those villagers. It just needs to take down the outpost if it can. They might just about manage it. Villagers building it though. And it's kind of expensive here. The outpost does go up, and the outpost goes up for the Mongols. That's a problem for Demuslim. Does lose a couple of villagers as well for his cause. On the right side, the Mongols have double docked. On the east side, do have some demos as well. We've got the junk, war junk, and the bagler, both springald ships. Looks like war junk might win this out, but there is repairs coming in. Outpost goes up in the end, village is repairing, and arrow slits will be coming in there. That would deny that wood line. Does mean the Delhi Sultanate will need to move elsewhere for the wood line around the back, and not necessarily a problem. At least not yet. And a new Khan does rise from the ashes. But the war junk wins that, and now the fishing ships are going to be cut off from their fishing chips. A couple of demos there. Might get a big bada boom on the fishing ships. Will there be garrisoning? I'm not sure. They're going straight from the dock instead. Wouldn't blame. You can try and take down that dock if you can. And around the south, the spears trying to engage on the Uvu, and hardened spearman versus hardened spearman, but Demuslim doesn't really quite have the numbers there. Thor going to push those away. Back on the waters, the war junk going to be picking off a couple of the fishing ships again. Demo coming out. And a light junk as well for good measure. The demo gets a good hit on the dog, but still has some HPO left on that thing. Fishing ships do deposit, and they're still gathering food though. Here we are, another demo ship comes out. It's going to go for the fishing economy first, and that's a smart move, because now the... Holy smokes, that was a big hit. That was a huge hit on the fishing ships. So even a villager here trying to torch that down. Another demo comes out. Yep, the dock is taken out. Now Demuslim loses water. And that's a concern, because now this fish boom will be there for the Mongols. Now that outpost goes up in the end, and that wood line is cut off. Villagers on stone, so it could be a second town centre coming out for Demuslim. We'll have to see. It could be a castle age and then a keep. We'll see. Things are settling down again. Demuslim on berries. Does have a couple more berry patches to go to for food if he needs to, but this is certainly a big loss here, losing the waters. Aristotle's coming out on the second tower now. Bears coming out for Demuslim, looking to try and take down these outposts, but there might be a bit of casualties here because there are two, and they have sprinkled emplacements as well, I think. Oh no, wait, they won't do because they're in the feudal age, but it definitely has arrow slits, and that'll be getting good value. Going on the spears, does lose one, might lose a second. One outpost will go down though. It's a trade that Demuslim wants to push us back. He doesn't want this to escalate with more outposts, and he will take them down. We'll have some casualties. Archers in the back line as well. Fish boom continues for the Mongols. A new Khan rises again from the ashes twice in one game. Outpost goes down. Outpost being popped up on the wood line for Thor, protecting his economy, especially as well on the Uvi. He's been attacked once or twice there already. Getting the old textiles as well to improve the villager HP. Heading towards the north now. Where are these spearmen going? That is the question. Maybe look to cut off other wood supplies if you can. Demo's here just patrolling. Making sure he has control. Couple of spearmen head to here for Demuslim, and the archers going to torch down this outpost, but again we'll lose units. And I think if you're Thor, you don't really mind this too much. So our villagers are repairing. They're being picked apart by the archers though, trying to keep the outpost alive for as long as possible. Let's lose a couple of villagers. Sacrifices. I'm not sure if that was worth it in the end. Lose quite a few workers there. Outpost still survives though, getting good value. Not too sure who's winning that, although the spearman diving underneath the town centre, that is not ideal. We'll be picking off a villager or two. I'm not sure if he did in the end. Oh, that is painful for the Mongols. He's going to lose everything here. Diving underneath the town centre, but it looks like Demuslim has the same idea. What is going on? Very uncharacteristic for both players. Look at the sacred site being capped there by Demuslim in the centre of the map. Again, two hotly contestable areas there, the two sacred sites. That would be giving his economy a nice boost, 150 gold per minute. On the left as well, that'll be 300 gold per minute if he does it, and this outpost is, having gone down, is a bit of a problem. The Ovu is under attack. I've just realised I'm not on the caster mode. I'm not entirely sure why we casted without it, but in any case, let's go back into it. A bit of janky there, initialising it. Quite used to the old overlay to be honest, but this is certainly better. Great work done by the Capture Age team. Second town centre is up and running for the Delhi Sultanate. Villager is a little bit lacking in numbers, of course, because 56 economy for the Mongols is partly, well, is very much because of the fishing economy, the fishing ships that they're getting. Not sure if Mongols have access to fishing ships generally. At least they didn't in the past. Relatively new dish, I suspect. Spearmen going to head around the south. If they can get any further value, but there's not much economy here to harass. Two sacred sites have been capped. Sacred site victory win condition has been activated. Step down. Landmark of choice to get to the castle age. Always making his way there. No castle age in sight for the Delhi Sultanate though. He's committing to the feudal age somewhat. Spears engage with the veteran Khan. Another Uvu build. And this is a problem potentially for the Muslim, because there's kind of a proxy base appearing here. Man-at-arms coming out, double production, and I'm not sure that's going to be denied. A villager or two might be lost. In fact, the villagers do escape. Yeah, he escapes with that. Textiles coming in clutch there. And now the problem for Demuslim, he doesn't really have a counter to the man-at-arms that about to pop out, is Castle Age man-at-arms, so that's a bit of a precarious position. Sacred Site still activated though, gathering that gold for the Delhi Sultanate. Plenty of gold in the bank. As you can see, he doesn't have any villagers on gold, doesn't need to. He's got 300 gold per minute coming in. Plenty of gold to get to the castle age, just needs the food now. He's way off the food though. Heading towards the north now, the Khan getting some scouting information. Do not decapping the sacred site. A couple of man-at-arms peeling off. One on the west, one going in the north. Three going on the north. Khan might go down again for a third time in this game. Feels like Delhi Sultanate are trying to save up for that castle age, but he's got to deal with these man-at-arms that are circling in his base. So he's trying to condense his economy, trying to condense his army to take effective fights, but the archers just tickling these man-at-arms is not ideal. He needs an opportunity to mass up numbers here. Trouble for Demuslim is struggling because he needs to keep these man-at-arms at bay, but he also needs to age up to the next stage. And meanwhile, the Mongols' fish boom is well underway. Curiously enough though, these sacred sites are in play. They are being decapped now. Looks like Demuslim's going on the aggressive, which is rather surprising at this point. Taking the engagement, spearmen engage with this the man-at-arms. Archers in behind. Man-at-arms should break the spears. I'm not sure this is a good fight for Demuslim. Doesn't seem like one. The spear's going down, and he has to pull back. I think he realizes it's not a fight he can win. I'm going to try and kite the man-at-arms as much as he can. As you can see, barely doing any damage to them. Still way off that feudal age, and this is great engagement for Thor. He's thinning up the numbers. Not only is he thinning up the numbers, he's making sure that his opponent has to commit to producing more units before he dies. Otherwise, if he doesn't keep producing here, he will die. It does kind of delay his castle age uptime. Speaking of which, he has chosen the House of Learning as the third age landmark of choice, giving them access to special technologies. Takes an engagement here, trying to bide his time to get to the next stage. This is more of a distraction, you feel, used by Demuslim to try and push up the man-at-arms. But we'll see if he manages it. Man-at-arms going to head further in. Relics being picked up. Demuslim reaches the castle age. Man-at-arms might dive in here. I think Thor smells blood. He feels like this is the time to attack. As we said it before in this game, when you age up, that's when you're most you're vulnerable, and I think Thor smells it and try and attack and take as many of these units out as possible. A new Khan does rise to the fight. We shall see if he makes it in time. But Demuslim under a lot of pressure. He needs to have some crossbows out. They are producing from the archery range. There is an imam, there is a scholar garrison inside there, using the efficient production. So we're effectively producing from the equivalency of 2 archery ranges, but you feel it's not going to be enough here. It's going to lose these archers sooner or later. Especially considering there is the iron undermesh upgrade for Thor. He's quite happy to dive underneath the town centre here. Go for another town centre, the Mongols, looking to cement that position with the deer patch. He is not taking anything for granted here, going to continue to fight, but he's being kited underneath the town centre somewhat. There aren't any villages underneath the town centre though. As you can see, I think we should expect outposts. Yeah, they are. The outposts are coming out. That's a concern for Demuslim. He's going to lose this army. Slowly but surely. Economy is building up though for Demuslim now that he's on 2 town centres. Scholars pop out. They're looking for safer lands. But with the second town centre coming out for Thor, that'll boost up his economy even further. Scholars heading around the back. Quadruple archery ranges, so yep, sure. Going to be crossbows. That's what really the Muslim wants, is getting the scholars to garrison inside. That's a lot of scholars in those 4 archery ranges. So that's equivalency of 6-7 archery ranges plus the one down the south, 8-9 archery range production. I'm not sure if it's actually able to produce that many that quickly. We'll see. It doesn't really have the gold income for it. Only has 150 gold per minute. Won't be able to do that. Might need to get a market to trade the food. It's got plenty of food though. Mangonel pops out, and that's going to be a problem for those crossbows. Get the feeling that Thor just needs to double down with siege. Going to be torching down one of the archery ranges. But we'll be keeping up on villager production now that it's got a second town centre. Councils the Mangonel in the end. And now the Mongols themselves are going to be capping the sacred sites. Oh, this one not there just yet. Town centre now spotted by Demuslim. Loses a couple of crossbows there. Mangonel is being produced in safer lands. Certainly Thor playing this really well with the food income coming in from the fishing chips. Does spy those 2 deep water fish spots though. A lot of idle time being caused here by just 4 man-at-arms. They will be taken apart by the crossbows though. Transition coming, or just adding in the blacksmith for some upgrades I suspect. It's a bit slow to be researching here because he doesn't actually have any scholars garrisoned inside the mosque. It's just because of the fact that they have to be prioritising being in these archery ranges for production. It's not being able to produce too much. Here come the Mangonels. Outpost creep ensues with man-at-arms still being produced. Man-at-arms in the north get taken apart. And certainly the Mangonels is going to be the game changer here. Oh, villagers on the gold mine. Only one goes down, but a lot on low HP now. Looks like the man-at-arms going to go straight for the barracks. There's a sacred site timer activated now for the Mongols. The Muslim under pressure. It's immense pressure. Trouble for the Muslim. He needs a counter to the Mangonels. He's going full infantry, spears and crossbows. That's not going to help against the Mangonels. Villagers being pulled. He wants to get rid of it, but the problem is the man-at-arms going to cut them off. Villagers will be slain. Magano even gets hit on those villagers, and I think it's the last chance. The villager pool comes out for the Delhi Sultan. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Mangonels shoot on the villagers. One last hurrah. Outpost goes up as well, and this is a full villager pool to take out the Mangonels. It's going to be a costly engagement for the Delhi Sultan, but it's the last-ditch effort. Still man-at-arms there, and that's a lot of idle time caused by those Mangonels for sure, at least. And the problem for Demuslim is that, well, I suspect those Mangonels are going to just be rebuilt again on the field. Sprinkled in placements in the outpost now, and he's going to be losing up his numbers. Even numbers though, military-wise. Not too bad, but fighting underneath the outpost not ideal. Movement speed comes out for the man-at-arms. They can engage, but they're going to be countered by the crossbows. Crossbows heading back towards base. Good defense here by Demuslim. Villager pool certainly worth it in the end. But he has lost a lot. He's 20 villagers behind now. Man-at-arms engaged underneath the outpost. It's a good fight generally for Thor, although he might lose a couple of those man-at-arms because of the crossbows, and I think Thor has to retreat from this position. Doesn't want to lose all of them. Can't afford to, really. And I get the feeling that Demuslim has been using the market a lot. He's had to. Doesn't really have safe gold income. Not yet, anyway. He's going back out to gold now, though. Outpost still getting good value. Will be taken down. I think now we see, we see more Mangonels being built on the field. Thor doubling down Man-at-arms and Mangonels. He's not switching at all. Looks like the Man-at-arms going to die at this position. I'm not sure what Demuslim is, whether he's overextending here. There are outposts there. He'll lose a couple of Man-at-arms in the infantry to those outposts. He's going to try and torch it down. I'm not sure how I feel about this, especially with the Mangonels in the back. He'll be trying to harass those villagers, but the Mangonels are going to deploy, and if he's not careful, he might lose a couple of units here. Does lose a few. Units peeling back here for Demuslim, but now it's starting to be outproduced. You get the feeling the economy here for the Mongols is really starting to translate into military now. Man-at-arms heading towards the middle line. Trouble is the Mangonels are a little bit further away. They need time to catch up. They're about to catch up. Another Mangonel being produced. All Mangonels will be on the field very shortly for the Mongols. That would be difficult to counter for the Delhi Sultan. No horsemen on the field. That'll be tricky. There is a defensive keep coming up for the Delhi Sultan. That will certainly help things, but a lot of weak villages. If the Mangonels get on top of that, that could become a problem. Might need to get some trebuchets out now for the Mongols, and he is going to go straight for the keep, try and get some good volleys on that. Might need to go a bit further forward, maybe focus on the villagers instead, and that looks to be what he's doing. Okay, this is going to be a big problem for Demuslim. Oh, loses a lot of villagers. The keep will go up. Might lose a Mangonel. No, Mangonels do survive. But now this forces Thor into getting some trebuchets, and that's exactly what he does. He's on the way to do so. And the village count really starting to build up here for Thor. Economy almost reaching 100 versus 70. Farming transition coming out of the Delhi Sultan. That's not ideal for his position. We're using a lot of wood to do so, and no real need. Obviously, he's got quite a few pastures though, actually. The Mongols, despite having the fishing economy. It's running out. Shortfish is about to expire. There's not huge amounts left. He's almost expiring it, so it does need that transition to pastures. He's got it all underway though. All Mangonels firing off with the trebuchet behind. The Muslim has the presence of mind to bring in a relic. Two trebuchets now firing off that keep. The Muslim is possibly going to lose that keep. Has a couple of villages repairing, but looks like the HP is being lost on the keep faster than it's being repaired. Pulls more villagers to try and keep this alive for as long as possible. Mangonels moving forward. They're firing on the villagers. There is some garrison inside. Does use a few though. Might need to see some springalds here for Demuslim, but can't quite afford it. Does have plenty of gold though. That's one thing he does have a lot of. Now there's a crossbow switch here for Thor, and that has happened. And with that, Demuslim taps out and the Mongols triumphing on this new map against the Delhi Sultanate. A good game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, do give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and I'll see you on the next casted game.